You good? Just let me know. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to CSL Redlands. My name is Joe Nelson. I'm here to guide you on this guided meditation. And let me invite you to just sit back, take a deep breath, close your eyes. Take a nice deep inhalation through the nose. Hold it a few seconds. And release through the mouth, exhalation. Breathe in through the nose deep. Exhale through the mouth. Easy. And feel all the tension melt away with each inhalation and every exhalation. As your breathing grows slower and deeper, as you feel the rise and fall. Let us center ourselves in this moment in oneness with Spirit. With this divine Spirit at the core of our being, in and all around. As we know Spirit, God, is present in every point in space and time. Always. Let us breathe in, breathe out. This realization and this recognition that we are divine. As our breathing becomes more steady, more deep. Starting at the top of your head, you feel the tension melt away as we breathe in. As we breathe out. Feel that tension drop down and melt away as it flows downward from your face to your neck, shoulders, torso, legs, arms, hands, fingers, feet, toes. Feel it all melt away as your body relaxes and unifies with Spirit. As we breathe in stillness and knowingness, this power and this presence within and all around. distracting thoughts enter your mind, any outside noises or any disturbance you find obstructing your consciousness, just acknowledge it with ease and grace, release, and return to focusing on your breathing. Keep the attention centered on each inhalation and every exhalation. You should feel your breath grow deeper and your consciousness growing more open and expansive. As we breathe in that bright, white, radiant light of spirit, we see it, we feel it, we bask in its glow and its warmth. A raging fire that wells up and flares up inside us as we breathe in. And expanding and flaring out as we exhale. This light and warmth is in us. Now see yourself standing before this big glass door. And on the other side of it is nothing but bright, shiny light. That light is spirit, God, pure consciousness. Yourself opening the door, sliding it open. As you step through the door and into this light. You step through it. This consciousness, this light, this that is God. envelops you and surrounds you, and you are immersed in it and one with it. And you fall, disappear right into it. Become one with it. And you just flow and move through it fluidly, like mist in the air, like motes of dust floating in the air. You too float with it, are part of it, and one with it. You are now part of that same godliness, spirit, consciousness, power. Pervades all space, permeates all substance, at every point in space and time. Move and flow with spirit, energy, pure, strong, vital, creative energy, pure consciousness is what you are, is what I am, is what we are. Feel yourself flowing. The oneness, the connectivity, the fluidity, the spirit, soul, body, all move together as one. Right here, right now, always. Feel the intensity growing, welling up inside, just as you flow and move in this consciousness. Feel it grow. Feel the awareness expand, the energy grow and expand, the mind opening. Open to all, every idea, emotion, love, creativity, ever flowing, ever moving within and all around. As we flow through this light, this invisibility of the spirit that is all around, that is part of everything and everyone, we move through this atmosphere. Into the cosmos as we flow through and see yourself flowing through the cosmos, through the vast expanses of the universe. Feel the peace, the calm, the silence. As we experience this presence and power of God, whose body that we live within. We all live within the body of God. As we flow, aware. Oneness. This weightlessness of consciousness that we see and feel and experience as we move through spirit and return back to this presence, this sacred place. And I invite you to just wiggle your toes and your fingers. And slowly, at your comfort level, open your eyes. And this concludes our meditation.
Welcome.
Is welcome here.
your neighbor. My soul is welcome here. 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 Yeah, my soul is welcome. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome, and my soul is welcome here. Yeah, my soul is welcome here. I am getting a message loud and clear. Getting a message loud and clear. I said I'm getting a message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Here's Richard.
Good morning, everybody. Here we go. So welcome and thank you and good morning and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living in Redlands. My name is Richard and I'm a member of your board of trustees. Our center and spiritual home is an open and inclusive community honoring all people from every background, all races, sexual orientations, gender expressions, and spiritual paths. No matter who you are or where you are on your journey of faith, you are always welcome here, as the song says. Our purpose is to awaken humanity to its spiritual magnificence, and our vision is a world that works for everyone. If you are here with us for the very first time, please raise your hand and let us wave and properly greet you. Welcome, welcome. Okay, so a gentle reminder to please silence your cell phones and place them safely away so you may participate fully. We are so happy to have you with us for our service today, and we are grateful for your presence. And now, our century music, the song, There's Only One of Us, with our music director, Gilman Carver. Almost forgot your name.
There is only one of us. Or maybe there's two on the phone there. In your eyes it's me I see. There is only one of us. You are my reflection. There is only one. There is only one of us. In your eyes it's me I see. There is only one of us. You are my reflection. There is only one. You are my reflection. There is only one. There is only one. Here's Frankie.
Thank you, Gilman. Good morning, everyone. I'm Frankie Jones. I'm one of the lay practitioners here and an outgoing member of the board. And I invite you just to close your outer eyes if that's comfortable for you and turn your focus within. There's a sacred space there where you know you are connected with the one. There is only one. We are all connected one to the other in this oneness. And we've been given the gift of our word and our thought. And in this power and in this presence and in this knowingness, I speak my word for this center, for its place in this community, for its place in each of your lives. That it is prosperous and it is significant, and it plays a part, an important part, in the love and the joy that God is. And the work that we do here is so important as this love and joy expands out into the community and into the nation, into the world and our planet and beyond. And so I just bless this service this morning. I bless our guest, Sonja, I hope I'm saying that correctly. I bless everyone who takes part in this service, our ushers, our greeters, our musicians, our IT tech. It all takes all of us to make this work and to make it memorable and to make it lasting in the process. And I just am so blessed to be here. I am so blessed to be with you, knowing that you are blessed and you are a blessing. And if you agree, I just say thank you. Thank you for this truth. And release these words into law, knowing they are manifest here and now. And so it is. We have a reading from Pope Francis. You can have flaws, be anxious, and even angry. But do not forget that your life is the greatest enterprise in the world. Only you can stop it from going bust. Many appreciate you, admire you, and love you. Remember that to be happy is not to have a sky without a storm or a road without accidents, work without fatigue, relationships without disappointments. To be happy is to find strength in forgiveness, hope in battles, security in the stage of fear, love in discord. It is not only to enjoy the smile, it is also to reflect on the sadness. It is not only to celebrate the successes, but to learn lessons from the failures. It is not only to feel happy with the applause, but to be happy in anonymity. Being happy is not a fatality of destiny, but an achievement for those who can travel within themselves. To be happy is to stop feeling like a victim and become your destiny's author. It is to cross deserts, yet to be able to find an oasis in the depths of our soul. It is to thank God for every morning and for the miracle of life. Being happy is not being afraid of your own feelings. It's to be able to talk about you. It is having the courage to hear a no. It is confidence in the face of criticism, even when unjustified. It is to kiss your children, pamper your parents, to live poetic moments with friends, even when they hurt us. To be happy is to let live the creature that lives in each of us, free, joyful, and simple. It is to have maturity, to be able to say, I made mistakes. It is the courage to say, I'm sorry. It is to have the sensitivity to say, I need you. It is to have the ability to say, I love you. May your life become a garden of opportunities for happiness. That in the spring, may it be a lover of joy. In the winter, a lover of wisdom. And when you make a mistake, start all over again. for only then will you be in love with life. You will find that to be happy is not to have a perfect life, but use the tears to irrigate tolerance. Use your losses to train patience. Use your mistakes to sculpture serenity. Use pain to plaster pleasure. Use obstacles to open windows of intelligence. Never give up. Never give up on the people who love you. Never give up on happiness, for life is an incredible show.
Thank you, Frankie. Reverend Carey made me learn this song. Darn it. So now I'm going to inflict it on all of you. I am called to be a healer for all humanity. I am called to be a dreamer, believe in what can be. I am called to be a maker, be an instrument of peace. I am called to be a giver, of abundance I receive. I am called to be a prayer, living out the truth I see. I am called to be everything. I am called to be the glory here on earth, so all might see all the love and all of the beauty that shines in you and me. I am the living, breathing God, and you are one in me. We're called to be You are called to be a mother, to nurture family. You are called to be a brother, be strength in times of need. You are called to be a neighbor, see a friend in all you meet. You are called to be a leader, to build community. You are called to be a prayer, living out the truth you seek. You are called to be everything. You are called to be the glory here on earth, so all might see all the love and all of the beauty that shines in you and me. You are the living, breathing God, and you are one in me. You are called to be We are called to be the kindness set the broken-hearted free. We are called to be forgiveness where pain has run too deep. We are called to be compassion, be the wind beneath each wing. We are called to make communion, only then can we succeed. We are called to be a prayer, living out the truth we seek. We are called to be everything. We are called to be the glory here on earth, so all might see all the love and all of your beauty that shines in you and me. You are the living, breathing God, and you are one in me. We are called to be peace, called to be joy, called to be love. We are called to be peace, called to be joy, called to be love, called to be peace, called to be joy, called to be love, called to be. It's by Faith Rivera. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, her big debut. Here's Sonja. I'm going to play a song I've never sung before, but Sonja said she'd help me out with this, so. Ever feel like a plastic bag drifting through the wind, wanting to start again? Do you ever feel so paper thin, like a house of cards, one blow from caving in? Do you ever feel already buried deep, 6 feet under screens, but no one seems to hear a thing? Do you know that there's still a chance for you, 'cause there's a spark in you? Just gotta ignite the light and let it shine. So slowly night, like a 4th of July. Baby, you're a firework. Come on, show 'em what you're worth. Make 'em go ah, 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 as you shoot across the sky. Baby, you're a firework. Come on, and call those birds. Make 'em go ah, ah, ah. Gonna leave 'em You don't have to feel like a wasted space. You're original, cannot be replaced. If you only knew what the future holds. After a hurricane comes a rainbow. Maybe a reason why all the doors are closed, so you could open one that leads you to the perfect road. Like a lightning bolt, your heart will glow. And when Find it deep, ignite the light, and let it shine. The storm night, like the 4th of July. Baby, you're a firework. Come on, show 'em what's your worth. Make 'em go ah, ah, ah. As you shoot across the sky. Baby, you're a firework. Come on, let your colors burst. Make 'em go ah, ah, ah. We don't wanna boom, 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 even brighter than the moon. Boom, 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 even brighter than the moon. Hey,
That was fun.
Sonja.
That was fun. Energizer battery pack on. Can you hear me? Yes. Can you hear me now? All right. Good morning. I'm going to close this so I can put this on here. And then I'll just put it back when I'm done. All right. Wow, it's beautiful to see all you guys' beautiful faces out there looking back at me. First of all, I want to say thank you for inviting me to speak today. I want to thank everybody. I want to say that the reading was beautiful, the prayer was beautiful, the music was just awesome. Everything that has happened so far has been so inspiring, so I just want to thank you for that. And I can see how this center and all the workings that's going on behind the scenes pulls everything together and makes it a beautiful experience. So this is our Sunday celebration service, and we celebrate you, we celebrate the God in you, we celebrate this center and this community. So thank you so much. So, as you know, that Centers for Spiritual Living, they always put out a global theme, and you've probably heard some of it. I'm sure Mark has talked about it. But the global theme for 2022 is Living Everyday Wonder. So living everyday wonder. And so the theme is all about everyday wonder, in finding everyday wonder in everything that you see and everything you do. It is innate in life. So when we look outside, we see beauty. When we look in our homes, we can be in awe of what we have around the home. I saw Mark on the video, and he had this little whippy thing. And can you imagine being in awe of a whippy thing? But I'm sure at some point, someone said, you know, I could whip these potatoes if I just had a whippy thing. You know? So it's called a whisk. A whisk. So just having the idea and you know, of the curiosity in everything that you see and that you do, because there was a why behind all of it. So in the first week, we're living everyday wonder, and it introduces the idea of living with a sense of awe and curiosity, just what I just said, and wonder at everything, and finding the extraordinary in the ordinary. So week 2, we said, wonder, wonder everywhere, and it oriented us to wonder in the grandeur of everything and everywhere present. So we see wonder in the beauty of a rose, a rock, just things like the mountains. When you look up at the mountains and you see the snow on the caps of the mountain, how beautiful and wonderful that is. So be curious and have a wellspring of love and of how wonder reveals our oneness, because we are one. We are one. All these things exist and we exist, and it's a symbiotic relationship. So I can go on to say, so we need to take care of Mother Earth, Gaia, because we live here. We need to nurture that. And then in week 3, we embrace the now. So Eckhart Tolle reminded us that when our mind is fixed in the future, we suffer from fear, anxiety, and worry. And when our mind is fixed in the past, we suffer from regret, sadness, and depression. You with me? If we're looking towards the future, we can get fearful and anxiety of not knowing what's going to happen next. If we're looking in the past, we might regret something we said, something we did, something we didn't do. But he reminds us that when we live in the present moment, this very moment here, and we say yes, what it offers us, it can create a spaciousness for greater possibilities in our life. Living in the now. We only have this moment. And so in week 4, we are to question everything. And so it reminded us that as children, you ever been around a child and they ask about 70 to 100 questions a day? And it's always why? Why? What? When? What? Are we there yet? They're always asking questions. But when we transition into adulthood, that is narrowed down tremendously to about 20 questions a day. And they're mundane questions, like, what do you want for dinner? What movie do you want to watch on Netflix or Hulu? So we have lost that curiosity that we once had as a child. We stopped asking why. We also learned that there was spiritual discernment, and that allows Spirit to guide us and allow us to arrive at our best decision. And this means to live in the question and not to rush to find the answer. So when we're living in the question and not rushing to find the answer, that means we're going into the stillness. We practice this sometimes in our visioning, when we're asking, what is God's highest idea of, you fill in the blank. And then we're not using our minds to come up with that answer, but we're going into the silence and we're letting that vision just kind of unfold, letting it come through us. So that's what we learn. Now, we're in week 5, and it's now time to prove it. Prove it. So Jack Benny said what? How do you get to Carnegie Hall? Practice, practice, practice. That's what he said, and that's what we must do. We need to move ourselves into our spiritual practices. And in science, we have to in science, they come up with a hypothesis. So what is the hypothesis? Change your thinking, change your life. It's what we use in our philosophy. It's basically the assumption of science that informs our concept of the creative process and our methodology. But when was the last time that you changed your thinking to change the results? See, it's not enough to just come and hear. There's a passage in the Bible somewhere that says you must hear the word. But I'm saying for our philosophy, it says treat and move your feet. It says it's not enough to just hear what we're saying on Sunday mornings, but to actually use the principles and the teachings that we talk about. We talk about meditation. We talk about affirmations. We talk about visioning. We talk about a lot of things. How much of it are you actually using it in your everyday life? And that's what we have to do. We have to get back to basics and use our spiritual tools. So these first 4 weeks have been all about going back to basics. In the Science of Mind text, they typically do this every January, the thing itself. So all these weeks have been about the thing itself, how we use it. And so that's what this has been about. And so now we move into prove it. Now, how does one live spiritually? By practicing and proving it. Ernest Holmes says that one of the greatest difficulties in the new order of thought is that we are likely to indulge in too much theory and too little practice. We only know as much as we can prove by actually demonstration. That which we cannot prove may or may not be true, but that which we can prove certainly must be and is the truth. Have you had any times in your life where you used spiritual practice and it manifested, there was a demonstration, and you know that it is the truth, so you proved it? So I'm going to tell you about a time in my life when I moved to Corona, California in 2013 from Menifee, and I didn't have a job. And so I was doing my spiritual practices, and I said, okay, Spirit, I'm going to get up in the morning, and I'm going to go. And I love the chambers of commerce. And it's because I worked with the one in Menifee. I became their queen and spokesperson. Mrs. Menifee Chamber of Commerce was my title. So I wore the crown. And I know you know about the crown because I saw Mark with the crowns and saying, pick up your crown if you didn't get one. But that allowed me to just go around the city. And I had my finger on the pulse of what was going on in the community. And I love community. So, and when I moved to Corona, I decided, well, let me just check out the Chamber of Commerce and see what they're doing here. So I promised myself I would do that. I said, okay, I'm going to get up at 8 o'clock and shower and get myself ready, and I'm going to go and check out the Chamber of Commerce. So my alarm went off at 8, and I said, I pushed the snooze button. I'm not getting up. So I pushed the snooze, it went off again. I pushed the snooze button again. By the third time, I pushed the snooze button about 3 times. The 4th time I heard, get up. Do what you said you were going to do. If I cannot keep the promises I make to myself, how can I keep promises that I make to my loved ones, to my community, So I got up, got dressed, got showered, put on my clothes, not in that order, I went down to the Chamber of Commerce and I said, hey, my name is Sonja, blah, 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 blah. I want to know if you have any positions available. They said, as a matter of fact, we do. And you would probably do great at it. Just from the conversation and the exchange of energy and dialogue that we had, I walked out of there with a job. That's proving it. But I had to take one step further because I've never done not marketing as where I would get a paycheck for it. I did marketing for the chamber in Menifee, but that was just showing up, being the spokesperson for the chamber, and representing my chamber and my city, but not making money at it. So this was my opportunity to make money, and it was all commission. And I sat in that office and he said, how much do you think you want to make a month? I said, $5,000. So how do you do that? I jumped back into my spiritual practice. There was, Miriam Morrissey did a series, and I was listening to one of the tapes, and there was a catchy tune on it, and I said, okay. So what I did, I wrote it down. I put it on my dashboard so I could see it when I was, out and about. And then I would play the song, and the song was like, excuse me while I interrupt this message that's coming from my brain, but I'm listening to my soul. And what my soul said is, I am a child of God, and I deserve to have everything I want. I listened to that over and over and over again. I read that affirmation that was right in front of me while I was driving. I set my intention to say that when I go out today, I'm going to go to 10 places, close 5. There were 2 other salespeople at the Chamber of Commerce. And I'm not saying this to brag, but which one brought in 25 new members a month? Let me raise my hand higher. Why? Because I was steeped in our spiritual practices. When I rise up in the morning, I ask Spirit, what is the highest idea for me today? Lead me, guide me. When I stepped in my car, in front of me was that affirmation. And on my radio was playing that tune over and over and over and over again. So I became the highest salesperson for the Chamber of Commerce for the years that I worked there. And my counterparts began to come to me and they said, how are you doing this? Because they would close 2, 3, at the most they would close 5, but I was bringing in 20 to 25 a month. So they were wondering, how do you do that? Can you train us? Can you let us know? I said, I do it very organically. I do it using spiritual practice. Well, guess what? They didn't want to hear that. They didn't want to hear that at all. They thought I was not telling them the truth. But I was telling them the truth of my being and what I know to be true. And it is you prove it and you get a demonstration when you set an intention and you use your spiritual practice. And we don't just use it to get something. We're using it to get steeped, to get right in the center of our being where we know that's where the truth lies. We know that's where God is. So that's what I'm asking you to do. So there was another story about Edwin Gaines, and she wrote a book called The 4 Spiritual Laws of Prosperity. I don't know if you ever heard of that before. But she outlines how she was broke, didn't have any money, and then, she had heard from her spiritual teacher that you should do these things. You should have spiritual practices. You should set a goal and set an intention, and you should act as if you already have received it. And so she tells a story in her book where she started to do that. And when she went to a travel, she wanted to go to Mexico. She decided she wanted to go to Mexico. In 3 months, she goes down to the travel agency, and she books her tickets, for 3 months. 3 months in advance. And then she said, okay, Spirit, okay, God, I got 3 months to make this happen. How could I do it? So then she was talking to her spiritual teacher. She said, nothing is coming. It's almost a deadline, and I haven't seen anything. And her teacher said, you're not acting as if. You're doing these things, but you have to also get in the energy and act as if. There's a book that the title is Not Believe in It, but Believe It In. You have to believe it in. And so that's what she started to do. She started to believe it in. So she wanted to act rich, act like she had this money. She goes to the grocery store, she picks up some olives with almonds in the middle. She calls a friend and she says, hey, I'm coming over to your house. You know that wine bottle that you have in the refrigerator? Get out your best glasses. I'm coming over with my olives with almonds in them, and we're going to sit around your pool. We're going to eat olives and drink wine, and we're going to act as if. And so she did that. She told her friend about the trip that she wanted to go to Mexico. Her friend said, you know what, I want to go too. 2 weeks later, her friend's mom bought her a ticket to Mexico. So Edwene says, what's going on here, God? So the travel agent calls Edwene and she says, hey, Edwene, if you don't get these tickets, if you don't come down here and pay for these tickets, I'm forced to give them to someone else. So she said, I'm on my way. And so she says on her drive there, she decided to stop by her mom's house. Now you know why she did it. She was hoping that her mom would buy her ticket. But her mom said, that's wonderful, honey. I'm glad that Atlanta ticket was bought by her mom, but how are you going to do it? So her mom didn't take the bait. So her mom says, before you leave, why don't you go to the mailbox and please bring in my mail. So she did. She goes to the mailbox. She gets her mom's mail. And guess what? There's a letter for her. A letter from a friend that says, hey, we used to have a room. We used to be roomies. And we bought all this furniture from the secondhand store. But I didn't need it anymore because I got married. So what I did is I sold the furniture. And guess what? Some of those old pieces from the thrift store, they were worth more than we thought they were worth. So I thought it was the right thing to do to send you half of the money. And guess what? There's her demonstration. There is her demonstration. She believed, she set her intention, she set her goal, she had that conversation and dialogue with God. But what she didn't do, she didn't lose her faith. Because she had that conversation with God, she kept her faith. Not only was there enough money to get her ticket, but there was $100 left over for her to enjoy her time in Mexico. So that is a demonstration. That is how you prove it. So I'm saying all that to say that we have to live in the question. We have to set our goals and intention. We have to steep ourselves in spiritual practice, and our demonstration will be manifested. You will see your demonstration. So I just have one more story for you, and then I will wrap it up in a tight little bow. So I was working on this job, and this is another demonstration for me that I had in my experience. I was working on this other job. I left the chamber, got offered a really high mucky-muck position in radiation oncology, and I was working there. And I worked there for 3 years. About the third year, I wasn't really feeling it anymore. But guess what? The salary was great, and I wasn't willing to give it up. So I suffered in silence. My husband actually wouldn't say it was in silence, but I was suffering. And I was working with a friend of mine, a very dear friend. When I moved to California, I had this job in orthopedic surgery, and we started off like the same week, and we just became really good friends. And she was the director of this radiation oncology, and she said, so she invited me to apply, and then I became the regional manager of 2 radiation oncology offices. So I would go back from Fountain Valley to Anaheim to just be at my 2 offices and make sure everything was running. But one of the things that I was noticing is that my friendship was kind of getting a little mucky, getting a little bit sticky with her. So I decided, I love this person. I will not allow a job to come between us. So if I need to leave this job, and I'm saying this in my spiritual practice, in my prayer, if I am to leave this job, Spirit, show me, guide me to my next right step. I talked to my husband. He said, I want you to be happy. Your happiness is what's most important to me. So I said, okay. It was hard, but I wrote my letter of resignation. when I pushed send, I felt such release. And I had faith that the right step would be shown me. And so I don't know if you understand how it felt. It was like a weight had been lifted off of my shoulder. So I did resign. She accepted my letter of resignation. I was a little miffed about that. Hey, she sent that email back too quick. But I wasn't worried. So I put in my resignation. I was going to leave January 1st, not 1st, but it was right after the 1st, because the 1st is our holiday. So it was going to be the next day I was going to leave. So what happened? She came to me and said, "Can you stay until February?" So I said, "I can do that." Because you know what? I wasn't feeling any attachment. I wasn't feeling that pressure anymore. So I said, "Sure, I can stay until February." Then she came to me at almost the end of February and said, "Can you stay until March?" I said, "Okay, I will stay until March." And I just figured that Spirit was working things out. You know, I don't need to worry about the why or the how. It was going to show up. So right about the 1st of March, I get a phone call at my job. And it said, "Hi, Sonja." My name is Sonja. "Hi, Sonja. This is XYZ, and I'm calling from XYZ company. We have a position available. Are you interested in it?" And I said, "You know what? Let me get your name and your number. I will call you back because I'm sitting at my desk right now." I didn't feel right, job interviewing, while I'm still working for someone else. So that's what I did. I took my lunch break. I went and I called her. She said, "We heard about you, and we have a position open in Orange County, and we want to offer you the position. Would you be willing to come down for an interview?" I said, "Yes, I would." Within 2 weeks of me leaving that other job, I stepped out of one job on Friday and stepped into my new position on Monday, making $12,000 more than I was making before. That is demonstration. That is demonstration. That is how, when you use the teachings and the spiritual practices, you can prove that it works. So in closing, there is a gentleman named Mel Elrod. He has some life-saving things that he says you need to do by 8 a.m. And one is going to the silence. The other one is use affirmations. The other one is you can do visualizations. This is what he does. He does visualizations. He exercises his body. This is the body temple, the temple of the living spirit. He does some spiritual reading, and then he journals. So those are all things that we can actually do. We can put into our spiritual toolbox. Whatever it looks like for you, I can't sit here and tell you that visioning is going to work for you. I can't sit here and tell you that, but what I can do is tell you to try them on for size. See what fits. And then use it. Because when you use it, you will also begin to demonstrate and see manifestation in your life and have the things that you want to come into fruition. For me, myself, it has worked for me in my life. I have told you and gave you my demonstrations. So it works when you work it. So So there is another quote by Valerie Kaur that says, "We become what we practice." We become what we practice. So I have one question for you. How, and I want you to sing it out. I want to hear it. How do you get to Carnegie Hall? Thank you very much.
Hello, thank you. Microphone. Give it up one more time for Sonja here. That was a wonderful talk. I'm going to just take everything she just said and put it in 10 words or less here. Sometimes the best way to live in the present is put a smile on the outside of your face. And then, what did she say? Believe it in. Lost your way, lost your cool, and straight up lost your mind. Tried so hard to stay ahead, but you keep falling behind. Life is gonna pull you down, make it hard to see. A little change in the point of view could be just what you need. There's always a reason to always choose joy. There's something deeper that the world can't destroy. Smile, think you can't smile. Get up and dance, smile. There's a bigger plan. Storm only lasts for a while. So smile. Happiness is wonderful, but it doesn't stick around. Walking on sunshine, and here comes the clouds. You can laugh, you can cry when it all falls apart. I believe the more you laugh, the more you heal the heart. There's always a reason to always choose joy. There's something deeper that the world can't destroy. Smile when you think you can't smile. Get up and dance, smile. There's a bigger plan. You've got a reason to smile when you think you can't smile. Just clap your hands, smile. There's a bigger plan. You've got a reason to smile. There's always a reason to always choose joy. There's something deeper that the world can't destroy. Smile, bigger plan, smile. Get up and dance, smile. There's a bigger plan, and you've got a reason to smile. When you think you can't smile, just clap your hands, smile. There's a bigger plan, and you've got a reason to smile. You've got a reason to smile. Sidewalk Prophets. Here's Richard.
All right, I was giving a couple of announcements in addition to the announcements, so bear with me if I get it wrong or right. Where's my glasses? So anyway, before I do start with the announcements, I just wanted to touch bases on what Sonja said about Mark and the whisk. And then I thought about, that's Mark. That's just him. He's beautiful. And on top of that, he's entertained so easily, right? He's amazing. So let me start with regular announcements, and that is that the Foundations of the Science of Mind class begins tomorrow, Monday. I'll be there, January 31st, from 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. Here in the sanctuary for 10 Monday nights with Brother Mark. We already have 6 students signed up. Registration forms are on the side table in the back and can be filled out and returned to Eileen Swenson. Where's Eileen? Back there. Okay, or me today. So attend the first class free to see if you are ready. Zoom link is available. It's amazing. It's an amazing Foundations class. So join us today at 11:30 a.m. today, right after our service for our annual congregation meeting. Grab a slice of pizza. I've seen it come in from the back table, and be ready. Stay as we need all members to be present to establish a quorum to proceed. So, are you ready to be of sacred service? If so, please see me after service today to sign up for a task. We have some of those. So help is still needed for women to volunteer for the 2 a.m., 8 a.m. shift at the Women's Cold Weather Shelter. See Jean. Jean? Not here. Okay. But you can see Ed. Okay. We see Ed for everything. For more information, also needed breakfast foods. For those who have not yet done so, please complete the annual pledge form on the side table in the back and place in the offering collection today your 22 pledge and tithe your pledges. Tithes and financial commitments give us a realistic way to plan and budget for this year's operational expenses. The Wilkinson family invites you to attend a memorial service celebrating the life of our beloved Dr. Ruth Wilkerson in our sanctuary on Saturday, March 5th from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Dr. Ruth was our senior minister for over 24 years. So if you personally have a family member, neighbor, or friend who is a painter, resurfaces parking lots, and or is a general contractor by trade, please ask them to see if they would like to donate their partial services to complete our deferred maintenance projects inside and outside our church buildings. Let me know who this person is, and if you prefer, one of our leaders can also talk to them for help. Special thanks for joining us live and in person this morning in the sanctuary, and we appreciate all of you who have connected with us this morning via Facebook Live and YouTube. You are a firework and loved. Have a wonderful week. That's the end of the formal announcements. These are the additional ones. So today we're having a congregational meeting after, as I mentioned earlier. So if you are a member, please, there'll be a table back there with a sign-up sheet. Please sign in. If you're a visitor, I think you can hang around for that, right, Ed? Yes, please do. Please do. More energy, more people. It's just beautiful. It's wonderful. So, and then also, Mark just mentioned to me that there is a pamphlet on every table that's called, what's it called? Season for Nonviolence. I'm glad you corrected that, because I was going to say Season for Violence. We don't get violence. We know, but Season for Nonviolence. So anyway, if you wish to participate, please thumb through that and see Mark if you have any questions. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Richard.
All right.
All right. I feel like we should get pizza while it's hot. Is anybody else into that? What's up? 1 to 3 p.m. for Dr. Ruth's memorial service. It'll be here on Saturday, March 5th. All right, let's do an affirmation together. I use the science of mind principles to prove my highest and best good right here, right now. And so it is. And let's do that. You can clap. All right. So we're going to practice together. Sonja. 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 Let's give Sonja another warm applause. You know that when I was at a ministerial retreat up in the mountains, right, that you talk about energy, I was like, how did I get to sit next to you? Remember, it was like, I was like a magnet. And then there was others. Remember, there's a lot of good, really incredible consciousness coming through. Ushers, come forth for the ministerial training. I mean, it's awesome. So Sonja is going to graduate in June and do the walk, right? And then may have 1 or 2 other classes. It does not matter. So I thank you for answering the call to be a beneficial presence here. So Sonja is going to speak here for the next probably four weeks or so, and yeah. And if Sonja is moved, then she could apply, and maybe the first that Sunday, March 6th, might be the candidating weekend. That's going to be up to you to see. We're being interviewed. We're being cross-interviewed as a community. So I thank you all for showing up. So now it's time for the offertory. I am going to say this. If you're not a giver, practice, right? It's proving it. I'm not going to ask you to ever hurt yourself or give more than you have. I am, however, going to ask that just being mindful. So if we think of this as our house of worship, there are definitely expected and unexpected bills that come to your house of worship as well, right? And how do we actually anchor incredible spiritual leader? Well, it's to have all the abilities that we need to cover all the expenses that happen. So let's just say this. Take your tithes and gifts and offering. If it's your time, if it's your service, if you don't have anything today, just cover your heart, because you're a gift enough. And because you're a firework, you'll help to expand the energy here. And let's just say together, from the love of pure spirit within me, I bless this gift. I send it forth to heal and bless and prosper. It is evidence of my faith and my belief. It does great work in the world. And it returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is.
As I give, so do I receive joyfully and gratefully. As I give, so do I receive fully and freely. God is a river where abundance flows. Stepping into it, I accept and know. As I give, so do I receive. As I give,
Ushers.
so do I receive.
So I'm going to accept these gifts, these generous gifts for our center, knowing that the great good it will create in our community and the world as these gifts are given freely. They place a demand upon the divine law of giving and receiving. All good abounds right now, and so it is. Thank you, ushers. Stay in the room for the closing treatment. And if you are watching remotely, you can hit the donate button on Facebook. I did that because I'm like, why do people only give $21? I gave my whole heart the first 4 Sundays of January, and you could see how much we were getting, right? I want you to be really proud of the center because, man, it takes a whole week to do the count for the giving, because they come all week, and people from Facebook now are giving more and more and more. I saw a couple of people give $30, right? A couple of people gave $100 each, right? Imagine that. And we thank you, whoever is watching. So David has the little credit card machine. There's Venmo, Zelle, PayPal. Sonja, come on up, and we're going to start the closing prayer treatment. And do you want to go ahead and are you sure? I'll start it, and I'm going to pass it to Sonja. What's that? You do it next week? Okay, then I'm doing it this week. And David, just in case, make sure the mic is on, please, in case Sonja wants to say something. My magnet. Am I right? Yes. Just say amen. I can feel it. All right, so I invite us to turn within while the pizza's getting cold. Man, I heard a 5-word closing one time from Dr. Edward Villian. Did you know he could do that?
I didn't know he could do that.
I don't want to do it right now, but he can do it. He's just said something like, God is good and so are you, go eat. Come on up, Frankie, come on up with us. All the practitioners and ministers rise. And wow, isn't it good to celebrate life? And I know that this life that courses through each of us is that divine life that is always proving it. It's also always waiting for your invitation to receive it as an impress in a bigger, bolder, brighter way in your life. And so if you're willing to do that, just say, I am.
I am.
I am.
I am.
I am. And so I know that this power and presence, this love, this grace, this divine wisdom, I can call it God, I can call it universal intelligence, I can call it the mother, I can call it the father, I can call it he, she, or any pronoun, they. It's all inclusive and all good, and it is right where I am. And if you believe that with me, I'm going to say, right where I am, God is. And I'd like you to say the same thing. Right where I am, God is. And this is that place of unification and unity that is the platform from which I speak this word of blessing. Knowing that anything and everything that's needed for CSL Redlands, as it is an idea in the mind of God, is proving it right here and right now. It cannot be denied or delayed or deferred. If you look around the room, you are the proof that it must continue to be so, because you have shown up to be served and to be of service. And so I call forth now for all of us to just blow the roof off this place with an energy of that firework of good, knowing that if Sonja can get Gilman to sing firework, that is a miracle. That is proving it. That is a manifestation and a demonstration of the power of the ask, the power of the why, the power of the embracing of the now. And so let's just see our united energy travel through the world and the globe now, starting, of course, where we are. See it go to your own homes with our own family. Sometimes we forget about them. Remember, they're a family for a reason. And as uncomfortable or wiggly as that might be, let's send them love and light intelligence. Seriously, start at home, right? Isn't it Mother Teresa said that something about if you want to show the world that you're ready to do something, love your family, right? Love your spouse, love your neighbor, right? One of the sergeants said, make your bed, right? Wrote a book, make your bed. Okay. So let's see this intelligence of good and healing energy. Now see it as unconditional healing energy. Just float through all the freeways, north and south, east and west. I can see it all the way to the desert and the sea, right? Back to the Orange County and the oceans. 210, it's a little crowded there, but let's head toward La Cañada, Pasadena, Glendale. See all the good traveling all throughout California. Now see it just cover the entire United States. Just see it. Now let's go to the world. Where there's places that have troops on the borders, let the troops retreat. We're calling forth for the season of nonviolence. It doesn't have to make sense, for I know that Spirit knows how to make a way where the human may not know the way. See the troops retreat. Over 100,000 troops. Well, what are they there for? It can't be peace. So see shifts. See neutrality where there may be violence. See supplies reach those in need of supplies, including children who are starving in Afghanistan and all over the place. Even here we have kids that go to school just for food. We can do better. Let's unite our minds and consciousness in a field of this knowing that Spirit always proves it. Always says yes.
Always says yes.
Always says yes.
And I just have one thing to say. Last weekend, we graduated 12 women from the Ukraine as new practitioners. So even though, despite the troops at the border, they have that consciousness where they want to spread this love in the world.
Yes. And since we are one, join with them now. Join with that knowing for peace. Peace, the peace that passes human understanding. This divine wisdom and grace reaches everyone that's in need of a prayer, including all of us here. We all have a prayer on our heart. Let it be included in this prayer. For I know that Spirit makes a way, that God makes a way to answer every prayer with that sacred yes. How good it is to know this truth. Let's breathe in the gratitude for this knowing now. And exhale out even more gratitude. We breathe in even more gratitude. And we surrender even more gratitude now. And in this field of awareness of gratitude and thanksgiving, that this word is spoken to the law of life, it must be fulfilled. It's a demand upon the law of life that only knows to say yes. And so just say with me, prove it.
Prove it.
Prove it.
Prove it.
Prove it.
Prove it.
And I expect this good and each of our individual and all of our collective good to happen right here and right now. And as Sonja said earlier, we just walk around with great expectation that it's true, that it's so. Anything else to add, my sister? Oh, and then so it is.
And so it is.
Get your pizza. Amen.
Amen.
There was a
Liza,
time in my life.
Get a little rowdy. Show Sonja
I
what you
had
got.
to do it all by myself. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. Didn't know the love of God was at hand. Now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you gotta let it go. Let it all go. This is what you have to say. I release and I let go. Let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. go as the Spirit run my life. When my heart is open wide, yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I am free in the Spirit. I don't know about you. Yes, I'm only here for pizza. Once again, thank you, Sonja. Thank you, Brother Mark. Sonja.